Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The way that we live is not for everybody, okay? It's not, all right? Because we're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. Happy Thanksgiving to all, and to all, a happy Thanksgiving. From me and mine to you and yours, happy Thanksgiving. I truly am thankful for each and every single one of you as viewers of this channel, supporters, whether you are a hater and you're here because you can't stand me and my team, or you're here because you're a part of the journey. You've been with me for however long it has been, whether it's been 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, or 12 years. We've been on this journey trying to see this thing through. And I feel like we're getting ever so close to seeing this team finally break through and play the kind of football that we all are rooting for them to be able to play on a consistent basis. And so none of this is possible without you. And so I just wanted to take the time to tell you all thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting the Louie T Network and making it what it's become. We've fostered this, family-like environment, this community that we've built, and it doesn't exist without you. So thank you so much. I'm thankful for each and every single member of the MOBB, members of Patreon, and just you overall who support the channel. Thank you so much. So with that said, it's time to flush November. Now, I've been talking about flushing November all week, but I haven't formally talked about flushing November. It's time. Flush the month of November, and the calendar turns to December here in a bit. The first game of the month, or the first day of the month rather, is Sunday when we play our next game. And DQ mentioned this in his press conference, I believe on Monday, kind of echoing the sentiments that I had said, which was, let's just flush it. Let's just flush November. He didn't say flush it, but he was like, hey, let's go to December. Like, let's get this party started. Like, this is what we coach for. This is what we play for, to be playing meaningful games in December. Our next game is in December. Let's get it started, man. That's my sentiment. November sucked. It did. But we got through it. We're 7-5, and there's still time for us to make something of this season. We put in a ton of work early, a lot of sweat equity early to put us in a position to have a bit of a setback, which we've had these last 3 games, to then still be able to make something of this season. Let's finish what we started in September by finishing this season off the right way. And it starts on Sunday in December with this matchup versus the Tennessee Titans. And I want to say this. I think the key 2 players could be Brian Robinson Jr. and Marshawn Lattimore. And I'm going to expound upon that a bit here in a second when we go to In Other News. But I'll tell you this too. I put together a little compilation from my latest film session with the MOBB. And there will be a link in the description of this video, and also it will be pinned to the top of the comment section. You click that link, and you will be able to access that video. It will not be a public video. You have to have the link to be able to watch it. So again, it'll be in the description of this video, and it will be pinned at the top of the comment section. If you want to see that video, if you're a MOBB member, you already watched that more likely than not. So it's about 25 minutes. I chopped up a couple of plays that I thought were instrumental in that loss, but also some things that we can build on, right? Like some things that were really small that we can take. And that's why I'm so confident that we can turn this thing around, because there are little things that we can do better. Whether it's just being more physical, at the point of attack, whether it's, Jaden standing tall in the pocket and delivering the football. We can do the things that we did earlier this season. They didn't just go away. We got to get back to that. We were the more physical team early in the season. We can get back to that. We were making the hustle plays. We can get back to that. And I put together a little compilation of some things from the film session. Some of it just humorous. Some of it like, hey, we need more of this. Or we got to be better than this. But if these things start to happen, we can turn this season around and get back to where we're supposed to be. And I say turn this season around. I use that phrase very loosely because our season has not been destroyed. It's not upside down. It's just we're in a little bit of a fog, a little bit of a funk. But we can clear that fog. We can get out of that funk. And we start doing some of the little things better. And so there's a video of some of the film session, about 25 minutes roughly of the film session, that if you want some of that bonus content, click on that link. Again, it'll be in the description of this video and it'll be pinned in the comment section. Check that out. It'll be there. If you don't want it, that's fine, but it'll be there, right? So as we continue on in other news, I talked about Marshawn Lattimore and Brian Robinson Jr. potentially being two key members of a potential resurgence. That's what I want to call it in December, right? Hold that thought, put a pin in that. Let's take a look at the injury report. Obviously, I have no access to that, being that I'm out of the office, but I'm going to predict what I think is going to ultimately happen. So obviously Eck and Wiley are going to miss this game. I've been on record of saying that already. You guys already know that. I don't have to tell you that. Ertz is going to practice. This is his normal routine. Farrell, interesting. Normally he practices Wednesday on a limited basis and then is out on Thursday. They gave him Wednesday off. I wonder if they'll give him Thursday off too. Again, assuming that there's practice. There could be no practice, and they could have given the players and the coaches the entire day off on Thanksgiving. My guess is the players will have practice. The coaches will come in. It might be abbreviated. It might be short, but they're going to come in, do a little something. But we'll know. I don't know. We'll see. But assuming that there's practice, Marshawn Lattimore is the name to watch. Obviously, he and Brian Robinson Jr. I think both will practice on limited basis. Both will be limited on Thursday. And then everybody else who was full yesterday, full today again. And so the only two people that won't practice, only players that won't practice on Thursday, Austin Eckler and Andrew Wiley. Okay. Now you get to the ops. And I think theirs is going to start to tighten up as well. Pun intended. Their injury list is going to start to tighten up as I think you're going to see some of these names start to clear up. Obviously, you had Jeffrey Simmons on here for rest. You can take him off this list, right? Obviously, you had Harold Landry up here for rest. You can take him off this list. So now you're getting to the meat and potatoes of what is really up here. And I think you're going to see Calvin Ridley practice on a limited basis on Thursday because he's going to play on Sunday. I think you're going to see Chidobe Awuzie be limited again. Jarvis Brownlee be full. These are some key guys in that secondary. Tajay Spears, I think you're going to see him be limited again. I think he's going to be full on Friday, and I think he's going to play on Sunday. Amani Hooker is their leader in interceptions this season, so his illness is a big deal. But again, generally, if a guy has an illness on Wednesday, he should be fine by Sunday. I expect him to play. Arden Key is one name to watch. I think there might be a shot for him to not play. I'm going to say that Thursday is another DNP for him. And if it is, then I'm feeling good about him not potentially playing. If Thursday is a limited for him, he's going to play on Sunday, right? So we'll keep an eye on some of these names: Arden Key, Roger McQuarrie, Calvin Ridley, Chidobe Awuzie, Jarvis Brownlee, Tajay Spears, Amani Hooker. Those are the names that should register with you, and you should be checking for to see if they're going to be able to give it a go. I think most of those guys, if not all of them, are going to play in this game. I really don't see anything on this list that should keep anyone out of this game outside of maybe like a Luke Gifford. And again, he's not a major contributor. He's more of a special teams guy for the Titans. So my guess is they'll have most of the guys that are key contributors that are on this list playing on Sunday. That's my guess. Okay. So let's talk about the key players to the turnaround that I think can take place. Before I do that, I want to talk about this ticket giveaway before I forget, because I will forget. I'm very absent-minded that way. So giving away 2 tickets to this Titans game. It's Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for you guys, especially you MOBB members. Want to take care of you. And so I want to give away 2 tickets to this Titans game. And I've talked about flushing November, turning the page to December, and let's get back on track. So with that said, the hashtag for the giveaway for the 2 tickets to Commanders hosting Titans is going to be hashtag we back. Very simple. Hashtag we back. All right. Because I think this game represents us getting back to winning football and getting back on track and playing the kind of football that's going to allow us to finish up this season the way that we started it, playing outstanding football and winning football games against opponents that we're supposed to beat, and getting back to having that confidence and swagger that we were playing with earlier this season. So hashtag we back. Very simple. Hashtag we back. If you're a MOBB member and you want to enter into the drawing for 2 tickets to the Titans game on Sunday. So I think that we need a spark, right? And I've talked about needing a spark, and I think 2 players in particular that can offer that spark for us right now are currently nursing injuries and are both limited in practice right now. And Brian Robinson Jr. on offense and Marshawn Lattimore on defense. Now, in the case of Lattimore, you haven't seen him here in a Washington uniform. So as far as you're concerned, he doesn't exist. And you're right for feeling that way. I get it. But this guy is one of the best corners in the league when he's healthy. And I think he's getting closer to being healthy. I think he's going to play this week. I really do. And if he doesn't play this week, I won't be disappointed, because I just want him fully healthy when he does play. So I'm willing to wait for as long as it takes, because I'd rather have him for the remainder of the season than rush him back trying to get a win and then don't have him for the rest of the season. So I think he's going to be ready to go this week. And if he is, he could drastically change. Like, look, at the end of the day, if he's as good as advertised, they're just going to throw the ball to the opposite side of the field. And so they'll still have opportunities to try to go after Mike Samer still. They'll have opportunities to go after Noah Igbenogany. And you may not feel the impact from that standpoint. But here's what it could do. He being Marshawn Lattimore could allow them to play with an extra defender in the box, to maybe blitz, a little bit more, to be a little bit more aggressive, because now you've got a corner on one side that's locking it down, and on the other side, your corner can be a little bit more aggressive. I know you saw Mike Samer still playing, 8 to 10 yards off of CeeDee Lamb routinely in the game against Dallas. Now you don't have to do that anymore, because you got safety help to your side. Because if you're a corner, I mean, if you're a safety, if you're Quan Martin, who more likely than not will be the single high safety if we decide to play with a closed middle of the field, then guess what? You can cheat over to Mike Sainristil's side, knowing that you got Marshawn Lattimore on the other side, and he should be able to take care of business and doesn't necessarily need your help. And so I think it allows you to get a little creative defensively. That could, in theory, help us with getting stops on third downs. It could help us with forcing some turnovers. It could help with pressure on the quarterback, et cetera, et cetera. I think he could be the spark that we need defensively. Even though the defense has been, I don't want to say it's been fine, right? Because the second half defense is not the same as the first half defense, but the defense has been good enough. We should have won. If we're just strictly going off the defensive production the last 3 weeks, we should have won 2 out of the last 3 games, and probably should have beat the Steelers too if the offense would have did what they were supposed to do. But that was a good enough performance against Philadelphia. That was a good enough performance against Dallas to win those games. And we didn't do enough on offense. The offense didn't hold up its end of the bargain. So we'll see. But I think Marshawn Lattimore's impact could be really, could be really, really game changing if he's what we think he is. And then on the opposite side, Brian Robinson Jr., we need that physical edge back. I've felt like this for the last 3 weeks, minus the Eagles game, where I thought we matched the physicality of the Philadelphia Eagles. We just ran out of gas. I firmly believe that. But we were just as physical as they were in that game, if not more physical than they were for the first 3 quarters, which is why we were leading in that game. I truly believe that Brian Robinson showing up that night, playing, gave us an edge, and we played a physical brand of football that night. We just didn't have it in the pass game for whatever reason. But we clearly didn't have the physical edge. We didn't have that nastiness offensively that Brian Robinson brings to the table. And I just think when he's out there, he changes things significantly for this offense. And if he can play on Sunday, it'll be awesome, because if he can get through the game without re-aggravating the ankle, then he'll have a full week to treat that ankle, get off of it, do the things he needs to do to get himself right and ready for this stretch run. And we need him. Like, we can sit here and try to, make excuses about this and that, but we've watched this team all season, and our physicality on the offensive side of the football feels like it's directly tied to Brian Robinson Jr. And that's scary. It really is, because one player should not have that much power over how physical you are on one side of the ball or the other. But that's just the way it feels right now. And the Titans, as you're going to see here in a second, they are good on defense. And it's going to be a physical game, okay? I've watched them quite a bit this season, and they are physical, all right? Their problem has been that they don't score enough points. But I've watched them be in ball games this season. I've watched them bully teams and then just make mistakes. Like in week 1 against Chicago, they bullied the Bears, and they made mistakes at the end of that game and lost. I watched them bully the Jets for practically 3 quarters, but made too many mistakes and ultimately lost that game. They were right there toe-to-toe with Minnesota just 2 weeks ago, and they just didn't score enough points. But they were in that ball game. And look, this is a physical Titans team, and they're not going to back down, and they think they can come in here and win. They've done it before, right? Just 2 years ago, they came in here with Ryan Tannehill, and I think they scored 17 points and beat us. Like, they're not afraid, and they think they're good enough to beat us. So we're gonna have to man up, and we're gonna need Brian Robinson Jr.'s physicality. There's no way around it. This is one of those strap it up, two chin strap games where you're going to have to find a way to be tougher than the Tennessee Titans. And I think in order to do that on the offensive side of football, you're going to need Brian Robinson Jr. And while we're on the subject matter of being physical, our defensive line, linebackers, et cetera, we're going to have to be physical in this game because the Titans have a big physical offensive line. Big physical offensive line, and they want to run the football. And we got to be up for the challenge. So with that said, let's go behind enemy lines and let's take a look at the Tennessee Titans and what they bring to the table. We'll first look at some numbers surrounding the good guys, and then we'll transition to the Titans and what they bring to the table. But this line started out at 7.5, and it has quickly gotten down to 5.5. The Commanders are 5.5-point favorites in this game, but I think we're all aware of the threat that the Titans pose, and I don't think any fan out there right now is wholeheartedly sold on the Commanders' ability to win this game. I think most people understand that the Commanders team that early in the season was disposing of these types of opponents is no longer with us right now. I don't know if that team's coming back or not. The hope is in December that it does, but as of right now, we're in a dogfight until otherwise notified. And it's a damn good Titans defense and an offense that's growing as the weeks pass in confidence. So let's dig in. Let's dive into what the Titans bring to the table and what we're going to have to do to try and get this thing done. So what's going on? It's your man Louie T here with a big public service announcement. It's my favorite time of the year. You've got Black Friday. You've got all of these holiday deals, Cyber Monday, all of that good stuff. I'm an avid Black Friday shopper. I'm also a big Thanksgiving cooker. I'm a vegan. A lot of times have to cook my own food. So there's a lot of hustling and bustling going on, a lot of moving, shaking. And you know what also comes with that? A lot of funk. And so in order to combat all of those things that like to creep in, no one likes to be funky. No one wants to have that walk past odor, right? You prevent that by using things like MANDO. What is MANDO? Great question. Let's talk about it. MANDO is a whole body deodorant safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, package, grundle, balls, feet, belly, butt crack, stomach, you name it, you can use MANDO there to combat odor. Attacks odors aggressively, clinically proven to control odors for up to 72 hours. Available in 4 cologne quality scents: Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. My personal favorite is Mount Fuji. So here's a little something that I'll tell you. Right now, MANDO has a special deal going on their website. ShopMando.com. That's ShopMando.com. And right now, through Cyber Monday, you can get up to 30% off on specific bundles. That's right, 30% off. If you go to the website, ShopMando.com. That's ShopMando.com. And tell them Louie T sent you. Use that promo code Louie T. Get you 30% off on specific bundles now through Cyber Monday. Look, it's a lot of things going on right now. I like to call them the 4 F's: family, friends, food, football, and if you want to throw a 5th one in there, faith. You know what else doesn't have to join you? Funk. Don't add that 6th F. Keep it clean. And MANDO helps you do that. Happy Thanksgiving, and tell them Louie T sent you. Offensively, Washington, 6th in the NFL, so still sporting a relatively potent offense. still, I feel like we're eating off of what we did the first, 10 weeks of the season. I really don't think that these numbers are reflective of who we've been the last 2 weeks in particular, where we've really been anemic offensively. Um, Sixth in total offense, 370.5 yards per game. Scoring offense, you're fifth. And again, you're living off of what you did early in the season. Now, you still managed to score, 24 points in the game against Dallas, or 26, excuse me, which puts you right around your average. But that's not what that game was. We had 9 points before anarchy took place. So, and then we scored what, 13 point. What did we score? 17 points, 16, 18 points against the Eagles. So, um, it's been rough the last couple of weeks for sure. Passing offense, 14th in the league at 223 yards per game. Sacks allowed, we're 19th. We continue to take steps backwards there, and a lot of those, I'd say about 7 or 8 of those are probably Jaden running out of bounds with the ball, like where it could have been avoided, where he could have thrown the ball away, and a sack was awarded to a team when they shouldn't have gotten a sack, right? At least 5 or 6 of those 28 sacks are those types of sacks. That if you take away 5 or 6 sacks off that total, and we're probably top 10 in least giving up sacks this season, which is probably where we should be, honestly. But I digress. Rushing offense, fifth in the league, 148 yards per game. Obviously, that's taken a hit the last couple of weeks. We haven't been as proficient running the football, really the last 3 weeks. Our last solid ground game was probably the Giants back in week 9. We weren't great on the ground against the Steelers in week 10. We weren't good on the ground. We were solid, actually. Brian Robinson Jr. had a really good game, a solid game against the Eagles in week 11. And we, as a team, were okay against Dallas, but it was really Jaden Daniels' legs that carried the day against the Cowboys. So the rush offense hasn't been prolific like it was early in the season when the backs were really prolific, and Jaden's yards were just additions to what the running backs were really doing. It's kind of the other way around. Jaden Daniels is now our leading rusher this season, with 540 some odd yards, I believe, rushing. He's our leading rusher, which is not good that your quarterback's your leading rusher. So we need the running backs to get back to doing work. And a lot of that is because Brian Robinson Jr. has been hurt, obviously. So third down offense, we're 8th in the NFL at 42.1, so 42%. This is decreasing steadily week by week. We, at one point, were converting over 50% of our third downs. We were closer to 60% on third downs that we were converting when we weren't punting earlier in the season. Obviously, that wasn't realistic that we were going to continue at that torrid pace, but I thought we could be hovering around 50% because that was the kind of offense that I saw early in the season. Now we're just struggling on third downs. This goes all the way back to the Steelers game. We've really struggled on third downs, and I mean, I don't even think we were great on third downs against the Giants. I think we were solid in that game. I don't think we were great. The last really good performance on third downs, you probably got to go back a ways. Probably the Carolina game, if I had to guess. So we got to get back to converting on third downs, man. It's been rough here late. Total defense, 16th in the NFL, so halfway there, right down the middle. 334 yards per game given up. Scoring defense, 18th in the NFL, giving up 23 points a game. So we've gotten worse there. We were kind of trending towards 20 points at one point, but have given up 27 to Pittsburgh, so 28 to Pittsburgh. We gave up 26 to the Eagles and gave up 34 to Dallas. So that'll change the average real quick, right? Pass defense, we're 4th in the NFL, giving up just a shade under 190 yards per game. Again, the pass defense, it's interesting because some of it is teams are having success on the ground against us. Some of it is we were winning time of possession earlier this season. And then some of it is we're actually doing a good job against the pass, right? The Cowboys were 2 of 11 on third downs in the game this past weekend. I'm not telling you that we're excellent pass defense wise, but teams don't like. I can't tell you the last time we gave up a 300-yard passer, and I can't tell you why that is. Like, I don't know if it's just one thing. We're not getting shredded on third downs. We're not always great on third downs, but we're not getting shredded on third downs. I can't tell you the last time we gave up 300 yards passing. Like, we didn't do it. Like, Cooper Rush didn't have 300 yards against us. Jalen Hurts didn't have 300 yards against us. Russell Wilson didn't have 300 yards against us. I don't even think he made it to 200 yards against us. Daniel Jones didn't have 300 yards against us. We know Caleb Williams didn't have 300 yards. He barely had 35 yards after 3 quarters. Andy Dalton didn't have 300 yards. I'm not sure we've given up a 300-yard passer this year now that I'm kind of running them back. Because Lamar, I don't think had 300 yards. He ate us up, but I don't think he got to 300. It might have been like 280 something. Like Baker, I think Baker was the most yards we gave up. You know what? Joe Burrow had to go over 300 yards. He ate us alive in week 3. So I take that back. That might be the lone 300-yard passer now that I'm thinking about it that we gave up this season. That's actually impressive, thinking about it now. Week 3 against Cincinnati might have been the lone 300-yard passer we've allowed this season, Joe Burrow. Because Kyler Murray didn't do anything. I don't even think Kyler got to 200 yards against us. In week 4, we know Deshaun Watson didn't do anything against us in week 5. And as I said, Lamar had a good game against us, but I know he didn't get to 300. It was 2-something. So that's why we're at 189, shade under 190, is because we actually haven't been terrible against the pass, and teams have had success running the football against us too. So whatever the case may be, we could be adding Marshawn Lattimore to the 4th rated pass defense in the NFL. Take it for what it's worth, okay? Rush defense, this is part of the reason why I don't think our pass defense is getting destroyed, because teams are destroying us on the ground. We're 29th in the NFL, giving up 145 yards per game. Third down defense, we've gotten look, we came from the bottom. Like, literally, we were the worst third down defense, rather, in the NFL. We were giving up 61% once upon a time. So being 23rd in the league, giving up, 42% roughly, is a far cry from the 1% we were giving up earlier this season. But we can be so much better on third downs. But imagine where we were prior to this game. The Cowboys just went 2 of 11. That helped out the average quite a bit. We probably were somewhere closer towards, 32 than we were 20. So time of possession, 18th in the NFL, 29 minutes, 41 seconds. We got to get back to winning time of possession. I don't know the last game we won time of possession. We didn't win it against Pittsburgh. We didn't win it against Philadelphia. We didn't win it against Dallas. And we didn't win it against the Giants. Probably got to go back. I think we lost it in the fourth quarter against the Bears. We were winning time of possession the entire game, and I think they might have come back and stole it from us in the fourth quarter because they dominated the ball in the fourth quarter. I can't tell you the last time we won time of possession. We may have won it in that Bears game. If we did, we won it barely. But it's been a while. It's been a while. And then turnover differential, obviously, we were doing so well. We were trending upward. We were winning it every week. We weren't turning the ball over. We were forcing 1 or 2 turnovers every week. And we had built that thing all the way up to plus, I think the highest we got was +6. And then we were -2 against Dallas. And I think we were -1 against Philadelphia. And so we went from +6 to +3. And we're still top 10, but we're going in the wrong direction. We got to add more to the turnover differential. That's a huge statistic that we have to win. Our margin for error is slim, and we have to win the turnover battle each and every single week. And we haven't been doing that here of late. And that's part of the reason why we're losing these football games. And speaking of the turnover battle, we're playing a team similar to the Cowboys who doesn't have regard for the football, and we should be able to take advantage of it, but we didn't do it last week. So my confidence is extremely low that we'll be able to do it again this week. But you're playing like you were last week, a really bad team in terms of taking care of the football, and they don't produce a ton of turnovers. I say that, and yet they produced a couple of turnovers last week in picking off C.J. Stroud twice. So we'll see what happens. But total offense, they're 25th in the league, 302 yards a game. Scoring offense, 28th. They're just like Dallas was, averaging 18 points. Dallas was averaging right around 18 points. So none of this means anything. All right. It does. Dallas had 13 points before the craziness. Before John Bates' fumble, Dallas had 13 points. So it does mean something, right? That is who they are, but we have to take advantage of that. Or if we don't, then it doesn't matter. If we play down to their level, just like I talked about with Dallas, it doesn't matter. If you don't go score points, then them, averaging 18 points doesn't matter if you're going to play down to their level and play in their wheelhouse. Passing offense, they're 30th in the NFL. So that kind of plays into our strength. Their passing offense is one of the worst in football. Our pass defense is one of the best in football. So theoretically speaking, we should be able to take advantage of them. But again, will we? Sacks allowed. They're third worst in the league. They've given up 41 sacks. I told you Will Levis takes a lot of sacks. But again, Cooper Rush was getting sacked, and we didn't get to Cooper Rush. So who's to say we're able to get to Will Levis? I'd love to see us do that, but with the way we rushed against Dallas last week, I'm hesitant to say that we're going to be able to apply any pressure on Will Levis, right? Rush offense, they're 12th in the NFL. They're averaging over 118 yards a game. So, again, Tony Pollard went over 100 yards. As a matter of fact, Tony Pollard had 119 yards this past week. So, right around the average for the team. And Will Levis can scoot too. He's got some wheels, and they may get Tajay Spears back this week. So they're going to be able to try to run, and that's one of the things we struggle with is stopping the run. They got a big, physical, beefy offensive line. Third down offense, 28th in the NFL, converting 33% of their third downs. We're not a good third down defense. They're not a good third down offense. That might help us, but it could also help them bolster their average if we don't tighten up on third downs. We did a good job of holding Dallas down last week. Let's see if we can't duplicate that this week against the Titans. Total defense, this is where things get really murky. The Titans are the second best defense in terms of yards. On average, 276 yards they're giving up a game. They're stingy, man. This is no cakewalk. This is no easy feat going up against this Titans team. Don't let the 3-8 record fool you. They could have easily won 2 or 3 games if they just didn't turn the ball over and do stupid stuff at the end of the games, right? Scoring defense, 26.4 points a game. And again, that's a misrepresentation of what this defense has been. you know what I mean, pick sixes, fumbles, return for touchdowns, block punts, and things that are charged to the account of this defense that they had nothing to do with. Will Levis has accounted for at least 3 or 4 touchdowns by himself, turning the ball over. He had a pick 6 last week, right? So that average is not indicative of what this defense has been this season, just so you know. Pass defense, we're top, 4? They're first in the league, pass defense-wise. 170 yards a game. So again, understand they got the number 2 rush defense and the number 8 rush defense, number 1 pass defense, number 2 total defense. Titans aren't to be slept on, okay? Sacks, 25th in the league with 24 sacks, so they're not really getting to the quarterback. Hopefully that's something we can exploit in this game. Rush defense, they're 8th to go along with the first pass defense in football, which gets you all the way to the 2nd total defense in terms of the yards they're giving up. So we're going to have to work for everything we get in this game. 107 yards per game they're giving up on the ground. All right. So, again, our rush offense that has been dreadful here of late is going to be put to the test. And hopefully we can pass this test. All right. Third down defense, they're 2nd in the NFL. So, again, there are a lot of good aspects to what they're doing defensively. Like, again, we've been struggling in the third down department, and they're stingy on third downs. And part of the reason they're stingy is because they're not giving up yards through the air on 1st and 2nd down. They're not giving up yards on the ground on 1st and 2nd down. So you're getting into 3rd and long situations, and then they're able to get you off the field on 3rd downs. 31.5% third down defense. That is phenomenal. Time of possession, they're 6th in the NFL at 31 minutes and 40 seconds. So that's another category that they've been, kind of better at here of late. And we haven't. And if they win time of possession, they're going to have a chance to beat us. Because if they can possess the ball, keep it away from our offense, even if they're not scoring points, it's going to keep the score down, which is going to give them a chance to win the football game. Turnover differential, this is huge. But it was huge last week against Dallas. They were minus 11, and we didn't take advantage of it. The Titans are minus 12. They are 2nd to last in turnover differential. They're minus 12. Let me say that one more time. They're minus 12. That means not only are they not taking it away, they're giving it away at an alarming rate. We have to take care of the ball this week, and we've got to take it away. We've got to take care of the football, and we've got to take it away from the Titans. For all of the good that they do, they're still a 3-win team for a reason. They're one of the most penalized teams in the NFL, and they turn the football over at an alarming rate while not getting it back in return. We have to take advantage of these things if we are to be successful and snap this losing streak. The opportunity is in front of us, but the Titans aren't going to lie down and give it to us. They're not going to do that. So we are going to have to take it to them. So, once again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. I hope that, your Thanksgiving is a great one. You spend it with those you love. You know about the 5 F's that I always preach: family, friends, food, football, and faith. And you can use those in any way you so choose. I really appreciate you guys so much. And I look forward to chopping it up with you guys again tomorrow. But enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Have fun. Be merry. And enjoy life. Until next time, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. Take care. Be merry. Happy Thanksgiving.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, and to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's got